Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Friday evening, August 23, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren. And subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below, letting me know what this has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather-related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. We can see that as of their latest update that just came out at 7:27 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:27 p.m. Jamaica time, there is nothing new highlighted for a possible tropical cyclone development over the next 7 days. However, if we take a look at the Atlantic hurricane and tropical storm activity based on data from 1944 to 2020, we can see that usually this time of year, as we head into the latter part of August to wrap up the month and head into September, things that should be starting to ramp up. It's just climatology in general. We usually have the warmest waters, we usually have the lack of wind shear, and the tropical waves usually are coming off of Africa in a great number and even more robust than usual. And we can see right here as it relates to where we've had tropical systems form from August 21 to August 31. All of these red dots represent that tropical storms have formed greatly across the main development region this year between Africa and the Caribbean. Some of these storms have also formed across the Caribbean, but not that much. By the way, keep in mind that this has to do with data from 1850 all the way up to 2009. So we can see a lot of these dots across the southwestern Atlantic, across the Gulf of Mexico as well. Let's see if we actually get something to form before we actually wrap up the month of August, considering that we don't see much happening right now. And either way, we know the usual tracks for these systems for the month of August across the main development region into the Caribbean and into the Gulf of Mexico, or curving, clipping by the northeastern Caribbean, heading into possibly Florida, or curving out to sea right there to the east of the United States. And we're still looking at this. These are the sea surface temperature anomalies, and they're showing how warm the skin of the ocean is, as represented by the yellows, the oranges, the reds, as we see by the key on the bottom. And we see that we still have a lot of very warm sea surface temperatures stretching all the way from the main development region into the Caribbean, and this is the usual area that we have systems form. So these systems have a lot of warm water to work with. We see that Ernesto, when it was on its way towards Bermuda, it definitely sucked up a lot of the sea surface temperatures, leaving a cool wake or a cold wake, as you can see by the whites and the blues. That's what these systems do, especially when they're large and they're not moving as quickly. They definitely suck up a lot of sea surface temperatures. And we can also see the La Nina is coming on quite nicely. We're still in neutral conditions. It's not La Nina yet. It hasn't been declared by the NOAA as yet, but it's still on its way. And either way, a neutral condition is still a bad situation, because we had neutral conditions when we had Beryl. We didn't have El Nino. If we had El Nino and we had more systems formulating over this side of the world, we might have had some strong wind shear that would have torn Beryl apart. But it was not El Nino. It was more neutral conditions like what we're experiencing right now, which explains why Beryl intensified so rapidly and did what it did, especially across the Caribbean. And the thing about these sea surface temperatures is that the waters aren't only warm at the skin of the ocean, but they're warm the further we go into the sea at a great depth. And we can see the warmest waters is represented by the reds, especially near Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, Cuba, Haiti right there. And if we have a system sucking up all of the skin of the ocean, the warm waters of the sea surface temperatures, it's still going to be having a lot of warm water to work with, churning up even more warm water to suck up, especially if something stalls out across the Caribbean, right there near Jamaica. We don't want that to happen at all. Either way, we know that we've already had Alberto, Beryl, Chris, Debbie, Ernesto. The next name on the list is Francine, followed by Gordon. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out all the way up to until the end of November. And I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what happens. If we take a look right here at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can still see that the entire Atlantic is being dominated by the ridges of high pressure to the north. A trough right here, another trough right here. Tropical wave equal distance from Africa and the Caribbean. Another tropical wave that affected portion of Jamaica today, right there up to the west of the island. A trough right here across the Bahamas. Another trough right here across portion of Florida. And we still have that stalled out front right there across the southeastern United States, right there off the east coast of that country. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with that cold front right there off the east coast of the United States, still bring some showers and thunderstorms to portions of Florida, the northern Bahamas. The trough right there definitely doing a number on the central Bahamas and even portions of Florida. The tropical wave right here across the western Caribbean. Some of the clouds still across Jamaica even as we speak. We can even see some low-level clouds being pushed from east to west, so there's still a lot more rainfall to come eventually. So look out for that. We can also see the clouds associated with the tropical wave. Most of the clouds definitely to the south squashed right there, associated with the intertropical convergent zone associated with that tropical wave. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Friday, August 23. It was stated that parts of southern and eastern parishes in Jamaica would have received some morning rainfall, and then the rainfall would have affected sections of northern and western Jamaica during Friday afternoon. I don't know, southern parishes, we're talking about those parishes on the bottom side of the island. So Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Thomas. Eastern parishes, you know, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey. So Kingston, St. Andrew, Portland, St. Thomas. And we were saying that northern and western Jamaica would have received the afternoon rainfall. Northern parishes, you know, we're talking about Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. While western parishes, you know, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall. So Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? As early as 6:55 a.m., the infrared satellite images were posted, and they highlighted that we were receiving some thunderstorms, and we're receiving it even before that time. Definitely lashing mainly southern and eastern Jamaica. So definitely portions of Portland, St. Thomas got in on the thunderstorms, portions of St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth got in on the thunderstorm activity. Mostly cloudy skies elsewhere, but that indeed confirms the rainfall for the morning hours. And then during the afternoon, even although it wasn't happening during the afternoon, we got it more so during the early evening hours, late afternoon, early evening, especially considering that these morning clouds that affected us, they actually stuck around, so they did something for the daytime heating. We didn't receive much daytime heating. We didn't get in on the usual diurnal convection as we would have gotten it a little earlier. We instead got it in the late afternoon to early evening hours. Hence why this was posted at around 6:15 p.m. highlighting that the thunderstorms were affecting northern and western Jamaica during that time. And we saw that we're definitely getting in on the thunderstorm activity. Look at that. Even the sparkling white that represents the amount of lightning strikes or lightning flashes across sections of Westmoreland, Hanover, sections of St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, getting in on the thunderstorm activity. Section of southern Manchester, southern St. Elizabeth, getting in on some of it as well, just as predicted. Some morning rainfall for southern and eastern Jamaica, just as predicted, as we saw here. And we saw the afternoon rainfall across northern and western Jamaica. it was all predicted perfectly. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica, we can see what took place. We definitely had those clouds that we had in the morning still taking shape across portions of the island. And then as the afternoon progressed, we saw the thunderstorms coming into portions of western Jamaica and developing across portions of northern Jamaica. Even sections of some southern parishes got on some thunderstorms still from the tropical waves, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, and sections of St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, and Westmoreland, just as predicted. And we definitely have some confirmation from some of our followers here on our Twitter page. By the way, keep in mind that these posts regarding the weather aren't only made here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica, but they are made on our Instagram page at weather.jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica A76. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as we may post throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So the comments came in from these persons on our Twitter page. Fest Genius stating raining. Richard stating the lightning and thunder started early after 6, raining now in Mandeville. Prophetic Psalmist stating, this explains the beautiful orchestra I've been hearing from morning, thank you. Famous 876 stating Maypen dark. Even on our Facebook page we had the comments coming in. We have Suzette Simpson here stating light showers and thunder in Port Antonio. Cleon Trendsetter stating rain in Mandeville. Fiona Dowdy stating rain in St. Elizabeth. Odette McDonough raining and thunder and lightning in southern St. Elizabeth. Chris Breezy overcast in Mobay. Serica Robinson raining in St. Thomas. Even got a comment or two on our Threads page, which is basically a sister website to Instagram. Thunder and lightning and light showers, sorry. Thunder and light showers at the moment in parts of Clarendon, from Sandra Lele Williams. Carl tweet stating Kingston Barbican overcast. And even on our Instagram page, where the comments coming in from underscore Jamaican underscore Angel underscore stating lightning and thunder been going crazy last night, drizzling slightly in Mandeville. Tavia Jackson underscore stating cool and overcast in Spanish Town with little rain. Even right here, we have Petal.St. Best stating wet in St. Elizabeth. KK Sweets 2 stating the rain woke me up this morning in Port Moore. So that indeed confirms the rainfall from those followers. As a matter of fact, we even had 2 comments coming in on our TikTok page. The white guy state 550 stating rain. JJ, we got rain this morning. It stopped, but the place is now cloudy. And if we take a look at the live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel at about 11:04 a.m., we didn't see much taking place in the morning across the Kingston area. It was mostly cloudy for the corporate area in general, with the rainfall elsewhere. And then if we take a look at the latest infrared satellite images, just to show that we're definitely still getting on some thunderstorm activity even as we speak. So this is as of the latest. This is 55 minutes past the hour. This is as of 6:55 p.m. And wherever we see the sparkling white dust, that's where we know the thunderstorms are definitely taking place as we speak. So definitely sections of Westmoreland, Negril for sure. Sections of St. Anne, Trelawney getting in on the thunderstorm activity as we speak. Unfortunately, the Cuban Doppler radar images glitched out this morning at around 3:30 a.m., which is actually 2:30 a.m. Jamaica time. But we saw what was taking place. They were definitely getting in on some moderate to heavy rainfall, as represented by the greens and the yellows, especially across the waters to the south of the island, as well as sections of some northeastern parishes and eastern Jamaica as well. So St. Thomas, section of Kingston, St. Andrew, Portland, section of St. Mary, St. Anne was getting on the rainfall too. Unfortunately, the Jamaican Doppler radar hasn't been working at all. If we visit the Met Service website and scroll down where we see radar imagery and tap or click on it, we'll see that it's only loading up the daily forecast. If we scroll, we don't see the Doppler radar at all. Hopefully they get it sorted out as soon as possible. So unfortunately, the Cuban Doppler radar is glitched out. The Jamaican radar isn't working, so we have to be dependent on the Guantanamo Bay military radar. You know that they have a prison in Guantanamo Bay, a US prison, and they've set up a nice Doppler radar over there showing the rainfall that's affecting portions of southeastern Cuba as we speak. You can also see some rainfall across sections of Haiti. We can also see some rainfall right there to the north of Jamaica, some isolated spots, some greens, some blues. Not much taking place as we speak. Let's see if we load these images up, what's exactly taking place right now. So yes, we do see the isolated shores right there up to the north of the island, but unfortunately the radar doesn't go as far out to show what's taking place across Jamaica right now. We have to be dependent on that radar as well as the Cayman radar right here. We can see the rainfall right there off to the west of the Cayman Islands. And we can also see the rainfall affecting portions of Hanover, sections of Westmoreland as we speak, sections of St. James, Trelawney getting in on the mix too. Most of the rainfall right now out to sea. If we take a look at the live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel, as of 12 minutes past 7, not much taking place right now. A very busy halfway tree road. As usual, crossroad jam-packed with vehicles. Not much taking place weather-wise at all. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, it makes sense that the temperatures are cooler in Montego Bay right now, 25 degrees Celsius. Considering the rainfall that the area is currently experiencing, we can see that there is 26 degrees Celsius being experienced in Kingston. And by about 4 a.m. on Saturday, temperatures should dip down to about 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, remaining the same at 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is showing 18th on Saturday. When calculated, that's about 1 p.m. on Saturday. And we can see Jamaica right here embedded in some yellow colors. That represents all the way up to 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures. We know the normal temperatures for the month of August across Jamaica are about 91 degrees Fahrenheit. 91 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as what we experience in both months, July and August. That's the equivalent of 32.7 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 32 to 33 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on a Saturday. So please ensure that you stay out of the sun during peak hours and you stay hydrated as much as possible. If we take a look here at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Saturday, we can see Jamaica right here, not getting in on much Saharan dust at all. Some breaks here and there, some fluctuations, but we do see the browns that represent the Saharan dust stretching all the way from Africa across the main development region, trailing into portions of the southern and eastern and central Caribbean. But we're indeed glad that it's not that very vigorous plume that we know is represented by the darker shades of browns that can cause the very hazy skies and trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses in persons, whether it be sinusitis, asthma, whatever the case may be. We're glad that it is definitely dwindling as we wrap up the month of August. If we take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, it makes sense that we're still seeing the lighter shades of blues to darker shades of blues stretching from the Gulf of Mexico into the Caribbean. That we know from what we see on the key on the bottom right, that represents anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height all the way up to 1.5 meter wave height. And that's because the winds are going to be averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 across the Gulf of Mexico to the Western Caribbean, to 15 to 20 knots across the Caribbean. And we see the general flow of these winds coming in from the east, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure right there to the north of the main development region. If we take a look at the close-up of Jamaica in terms of where the winds are expected across the island tomorrow, definitely still having that easterly flow. You can see it curving right there across southwestern Jamaica. See a more north or northeasterly flow across the north coast. So we know what's going to be happening. We're going to be having maybe some rain coming in, maybe across sections of maybe northern Jamaica, maybe sections of southern or eastern Jamaica, if we still have some leftover showers from the tropical wave. But during the afternoon, wherever the air is piling up, wherever we have the least amount of wind, that's where we're going to be having the cumulus clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper level cumulonimbus thunderstorm clouds. So look out for that afternoon rainfall across maybe section of some central and western areas as usual. And if we actually take a look at the rainfall forecast now, look at this. This is strange. The Euro and the GFS models are in consensus that there's gonna be some amount of rainfall, if not surrounding the island, on shore. And this is valid for 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3 a.m. Jamaica time. So there's gonna be something happening in or around Jamaica at that time, the early morning hours, where there's gonna be rainfall across the kingdom, some southern parishes, eastern parishes, northern parishes. It's just awaiting him at this point. Either way, both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this. We see more of the blues out to sea though. It's gonna be interesting to see what unfolds if we're gonna be getting on some early morning rainfall. Then by about 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's actually 3 p.m. Jamaica time, we see the consensus for the rainfall on land for sure. Sections of Westmoreland, Hanover, St. Elizabeth, section of St. James, Trelawney, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Anne, section of St. Catherine, maybe section of St. Mary, Portland, Kingston, St. Andrew. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this, even although the GFS is a bit more robust with the darker shades of blues than the Euro, which shows the blues but not that in the darker shade at all, which just decreases the certainty of it actually happening. But the fact that both maps are showing that there's gonna be rainfall at 3 p.m., it increases the chances of it actually happening. Then even by 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 8 p.m. Jamaica time, we still see some rainfall in and around the island, especially right there up to the northwest, maybe Hanover, St. James. It's gonna be interesting to see if this actually happens, because we know these models are sometimes they show night rain or evening rain, and it's not what usually happens. But let us wait and see what unfolds. Either way, both accumulated precipitation forecast maps are in consensus that there's going to be some amount of rainfall across Jamaica within the next 24 hours. This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 3Z on Sunday. When calculated, that's all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Saturday. And we can see Jamaica right here on the Euro. Definitely a colorful picture right here. So we can see by the key on the right represents anywhere from 0.3 of an inch of rainfall all the way up to close to an inch in the red. We see the rainfall right there of the northwest and the eastern portion of the island. GFS, not so robust, showing all the way up to at least 0.57 of an inch of rainfall in the orange colors, especially across the east and the northwest. So we see the consensus. The northwest and the east should be picking up the most in the way of rainfall within the next 24 hours. And that's what we're going to be working with. And we're indeed grateful that we're going to be getting in some amount of rainfall to cool down the temperatures. We're in the month of August. We can see Kingston's bar graph right here at the top. Montego Bay's bar graph right here at the bottom. Montego Bay receives almost 5 inches of rainfall during the month of August. That's almost 125 millimeters of rainfall. Kingston usually receives almost 100 millimeters of rainfall, which is almost 4 inches of rainfall. So you can do the math yourself, considering that we have a nice graphic right here that shows that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. And you can visit weatherandclimate.com to find out about what your specific parish receives annually. Alright, so that is it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we do see a trail of clouds pushing from east to west. Lots of moisture stretching all the way from the Windward Islands into the Central Caribbean. Clouds associated with the trough and the frontal system still affecting portion of the Bahamas and the southeastern United States. We still see clouds associated with the tropical wave lashing portion of Nicaragua, Honduras, section of Central America, northern South America getting in on the usual afternoon thunderstorms as we speak. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean for today, we can definitely see that even right now, we still have some leftover showers, maybe hit or miss, right there to the northeast of Antigua and Barbuda, with those green colors, spotty showers here and there. Section of the British Virgin Islands, section of northern Puerto Rico getting on some isolated shores as we speak. And if we load these images from earlier today, we can see a line of showers stretching all the way from eastern Puerto Rico across central into western Puerto Rico. So they definitely had more of an east-northeasterly flow across the island, pushing right through there. And right now we still have some leftover isolated shores as we speak. And if we take a look at the Barbados radar, we do see some rainfall up to the east of Barbados. Some of this rainfall could definitely make it westward to affect section of Barbados. As a matter of fact, some of it could already be affecting Barbados right now. You can also see some rainfall passing to the south of Martinique, section of St. Lucia getting in on some of that rainfall. Not to mention section of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada getting in on some isolated shores as we speak. And even if we scroll down, we can see some rainfall right there passing to the south of Tobago, heading into Trinidad too. As relates to the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see some rainfall affecting sections of Florida, sections of Cuba associated with the tropical wave, the trough, the frontal system in general. You can also see some rainfall affecting portions of Honduras associated with that tropical wave, sections of Belize, Guatemala, the Yucatan Peninsula, sections of Colombia, northwestern Venezuela getting in some isolated showers as well. And if we take a look at where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing where it's going to be raining from now up until 3 on Sunday when calculated. That's about from now all the way up until 10 p.m. on Saturday. And we can see that there's definitely some rainfall in the forecast for section of Florida, the Bahamas, Cuba, section of Haiti, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, section of Colombia, Venezuela, sections of Guyana, section of Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, and they're already receiving that rainfall. Rainfall also expected for sections of Dominica, Guadeloupe, Martinique, as well as section of Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands. If I didn't say it already, Cuba, the Bahamas, and Florida. We see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast. I know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.